Guys, the prompt is the next thing. If you're not on, get on, okay?
Uh, so let's talk about how many brands do you have at the moment, like in terms of businesses?
I have I have four, five if you include my own personal brand, which I also consider to be a business of its own. Yeah, so there'll be five.
Oh, shout out to you. You know, you actually had to think about that. You know, so like I want to talk about like opening the store, right? Like you know, how was the journey to opening the store, and where are you right now?
It was really, really scary. I remember I only managed to save such a small amount of money because I only worked for 3 months before I realized that I am not built to work for somebody and I wanted to be my own boss. It was scary. I had so many people telling me it was a bad idea, telling me I should just stick to my job because it's giving me some money. There was just a lot of voices in my head and a lot of noise that I had to block out. But eventually I did. I just followed my gut. I always say a vision is given to one person for a reason. Not everyone is going to understand it. So I knew in my heart that it made sense to me. I didn't know how I was going to pull it off. I didn't have an actual business plan. I just knew that this was something I was passionate about. And I just knew that I was willing to give my all for it to succeed. And if it didn't, it didn't. But I kind of had it in me. I kind of knew that it was going to work out.
All right. So you know, what are some of the things that you look at? Like, let's say somebody wanted to open the shop, right? And then they'll actually write notes from what you'd say. What would you tell them?
I would first tell them avoid debt when you're starting a business. I would rather have you work for as long as possible until you're able to save the money yourself rather than owing someone or a bank money, because you have to not only pay them back, but you have to pay them back with interest, meaning that it's going to take much longer for you to actually start enjoying your money. Make sure it's something that's on demand, that your business is on demand. Choose a good location, have good advertising because it's key in this day and age, and always be honest and transparent in your business. That those are like my keys to succeeding business wise.
Yeah, honesty is key. And you know, talking about honesty, you know, what are some of the challenges that you face when owning this business, like the shop and stuff?
The one problem I face is just my age. When I opened the first store, I literally just turned 20 years old. So people didn't really respect me or take me as seriously as they would somebody who is older. Another issue that I had was really just setting boundaries in my business. I really wanted my pricing to be flexible, but at the same time, it wasn't making sense because I was putting so much work and gaining so little. So you really have to have that equal balance and just stand your ground, because if your product is good, someone will always buy, you know? So those are the things that I really face challenges with, because most when it comes to age wise, everybody who works for me is older than me, literally. So sometimes it's difficult for me to give instructions because these are people that are older than me. So it's scary, but I have to voice my opinion because it's my business and I know what I want it to be.
Mhm. So how do you get the respect, right? Like, how did you get the respect from people, from clients, and also the people that work with you?
Really, how you do it is just you need to let your business speak for itself. I really make sure that my products are good, that my service is as good as possible. So I let the work do the talking so that I don't have to do much. And when people see that your work is good, they automatically respect and value you. So I put my effort into the work and I let it speak for me.
All right, that's good. So let's say, why do businesses fail, like in this day and age?
Businesses fail because people are copying. That's one thing I always say. People, they see somebody succeeding in a business and they automatically think it to happen for them. Businesses that tend to succeed are those that purely come from passion and not out of envy. So you find there are all these online shops, they look exactly alike because we're all copying the same people. Do something that's passionate to you and you end up enjoying your work, and your work will speak for you and not mimic someone else. So that's like one thing I feel like that's why a business is not succeeding, because you're trying too hard to be like so and so. So just avoid that.
Mm-hmm. You know, and also trying to be like someone else, you know, the concept of freebies, right? Like, you know, how do you look at it? You know, like where is the line between giving so many freebies and not?
I have to know who I am giving that freebie for, because I have to look at it in the long run. Like, let's say, like if I have a friend, sometimes look at the followers. I'm sorry to say, if they have a lot of followers, and I don't mind giving them a freebie, because you're enjoying your hair for free, but I'm also enjoying the potential customers that you're giving to me. So I have to have that balance, because I can't just give everybody free hairstyles in my time. I'll lose out in the end.
Okay. So you give away in a business perspective and marketing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about taking ownership. Like, let's say if something fails and stuff like that, not just when something succeeds. How important is that?
For me personally, I think it's very important. Sometimes when a client comes to me and it's something that one of my employees messed up, I'm still going to take accountability for it, because they are working for me. You need to learn how to be professional and accountability and responsibility. It's really important.
All right. And then like let's say when taking advice from people, right? Because obviously nobody knows everything. So now, how do you know whether one is telling you something that's beneficial or they're trying to like ruin what you have going?
For me personally, I limit the number of people I try to take advice from, to be very honest with you, because different people have different opinions on different things. So in order for me to avoid so much commotion and noise, I limit the number of people who, you know, I take advice from, because it can easily just distract you and demotivate you when you hear people saying different types of that number, and only listen to people that you aspire to be like, and take the advice, and not just everybody.
All right. So having an inner circle is very important, basically.
Yeah, it is.
So now let's talk about advertising, right? When you're advertising, how do you make sure that you know it's being put out right? Like you know you have all the uniqueness and stuff like that. How do you know when is that?
There's no one correct answer. It's really up to you and the aesthetic that you choose and what you want people to feel when they're looking at your work. There's no one correct way to advertise or brand. It has to be relation to you and your personal brand. What do you stand for? What are your colors? What are your interests? It's all subjective to that person, but just knowing that you have a vision is going to help it like much easier to execute.
Okay. And then how do you beat the laziness? You know, like let's say sometimes they're like so inspired, and then sometimes they're like, you know what? I'm chilling.
Personally, I give myself a day off when I know that this day is the day that I have to enjoy myself. For the most part, I've grown up in a setting, especially from my dad, where being lazy is just not an option. I wake up every day and I work hard, and I know no one can take that from me because it's something that I know I do very well. I really put my all into my work, but I do allow myself time to rest. So in the time that I have to rest, I maximize it fully. But when that time is over, I need to get back to work because I've got a life that I need to provide for myself.
All right, that does make sense. So like let's talk about customer needs, right? So when you look at customers and their needs, how do you make sure that you meet them without compromising your values? So let's talk about our customer needs. How important is it to listen to a customer when you create a business?
with customers, you're really not a business without your clients. So you really need to listen to what your clients want and what they really do to provide for them. Because if you don't have happy customers, then you don't have a business in general. So it's good to prioritize your clients and make sure that your clients are happy with the product or service that you're providing.
Okay, and then so how do you make sure that it does not compromise with the values that you stand for?
The thing is, you need to just know yourself and your brand and what you are standing for. That's going to limit how distracted you get. So it's easier to minimize unnecessary information when you know what you stand for as a brand owner or as a business owner.
So you talked about avoiding carrying other people's stress, right? So how important is it to not carry other people's problems, to add it on your own?
It's hard, especially when you're a person who, you want everyone around you to be happy, so you tend to carry everybody else's stress. But at the end of the day, you can only provide so much. You can only do so much as a human being, and you need to be aware of that. So you can't be responsible for everybody else's problems. You can't carry everyone's burden on your back, and you need to understand that that's okay, because you're equally just a human being yourself.
Mm-hmm. So how much is the right amount of time to put in your business? Because a lot of people think about, is it the 100 hours or something hours? So what's your concept on that?
It's different when you're a business owner. Things like holidays, really, they hardly ever apply to you. But that's where the aspect of being passionate about what you're doing, because even if it's supposed to be your day off and you're working, it's not going to feel like that much of a drag, because it's something that you want to be doing. It's something you enjoy doing. As a business owner, you don't have 9 to 5 specific hours. It's your success is determined by how much effort you put in. So it's all up to you. You choose your own hours, that's great, but then the more you work, the more money you make. So it's really up to you to decide.
And with that, how much has social media played in building your brand? What is the power of social media these days?
Yeah, in this day and age, social media is everything. It all starts from social media. It's not like the way it used to be before, where you just have to, it's not enough to just have good products or good quality service or all that. You have to have a presence online. Personally, I wouldn't be where I am without the influence that, I've managed to build on social media. So it's everything, especially in this day and age. Social media is everything.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, basically, consistency is very important.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about opening a business page. I learned something new from you. So let's say, what does one need to open a business page? Because a lot of people are now opening business pages and it's
Yeah, no, don't worry about, when it comes to business, just mind your own business. I always say, mind the business that pays you. Don't worry that other people are also doing the same thing or opening the same businesses. That's okay. That has nothing to do with you personally and your blessings. All you have to do is just worry about yourself. Always, if you feel that you have a product or service that is worth putting on the market, then do not hesitate to open a page, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be, as long as you know for sure that this is something that could actually take you somewhere.
Okay, so let's say for people who are listening to you, they are hearing everything that you're saying, but they're very scared to follow their path. What did you tell them?
Don't be afraid. Really, there's nothing to be scared of. It's worth a try. The only thing you should regret is not trying at all. So just make sure you give it your all, you try your best, and if it works out, then it works out. And if it doesn't, you take away the lessons. That's better than not knowing, because you paralyzed yourself in fear.
Okay. So basically there are no losses but lessons.
Exactly.
All right. So you also talked about investing in the next generation. How important is it for people like us to invest in the people coming after us?
Yeah, you need to. You make life easier for the people ahead. Obviously, you pave the way for them. It's very, very important to not just think about yourself when you're running a business or just living life in general. It's good to think long term and also make life easier and a better quality life for people that are, to come in the next generation.
Okay. I'm talking about making lives better. You talked about businesses that people could start in uni. Or do you remember the list that you said?
No, I genuinely don't. And I need to get back to that one and finish the series, but I definitely will on my channel. Once I sit down and give it some thought, I will.
Okay, but okay, like let's say from the top of your head, what would you say are some of the side hustles?
Whatever you are good at, do that. I always say that. Whatever feels right to you, do that.
Uh-huh. So
Yeah.
what do you think about the concept of those who don't know teach? Like in terms of like when you have a coach, right? Although he has never played soccer, but he's the best teacher. What do you think about that concept?
I think it's kind of true. Personally, I own a salon and I don't do hair, but I know what hair looks nice. So it just depends, really.